Hello guys, the topics we'll be going over for security. This is coming from a general blackhat and Greyhack. And let's get to it. Chmod. Now, people tend to not chmod their servers. They tend to not chmod the whole thing, which leads to them getting hacked and stuff. Always make sure you chmod your files. No matter what. Just chmod it and stuff. Always chmod it. Chmod the hell if you have to. This includes removing read, write, and execute permissions. Always remove those. In the next topic, passwords. I like this one. People tend to use the same passwords on the same systems, which means if I have your password, the same root password on your system, and you're using the same root password on another computer in the network, I can then authenticate with the root thing. With the root user, and then go on to another system, and then basically pivot through the system as I'm going. Now, and make sure you always change the passwords on the systems. Don't use the same passwords, just go through the whole system and just change them. I know it's time consuming, but changing the passwords on the same system helps in the future of you not getting, basically your server not getting hacked and taken down and stuff. Now we're moving on to user escalation. Now user escalation, people like to add users to their servers. If I was as I am an attacker, I could then use these users for escalating, which means I could use guest, and whatever user you add, I can then use that user as an escalation point. Always make sure not to add users to your servers and stuff. Now on to next topic, process escalation. I like this one. Now people, they tend to always leave processes open, and this is basically how I obtain root shells sometimes, because people are running processes as root. Always make sure to close processes if you're not using the program. Always make sure to do that, because there's a bug right now where if you exit a program, the process will not close. Always make sure to type PS and make sure that process is closed. Now routers. Routers are the key thing. Always make sure to chmod the routers, take away guest, and this includes your servers as well. Always delete guest, doesn't matter, just delete the guest user. Now same use password shows for routers. Now if I be able to get into your router, and I'll be able to escalate the root, I could then use that password on that router to authenticate with your server and stuff. Basically, change the password on your router if you have to. And always employ good password practices on your web servers and that. Cause if I'm able to use the same password for your server, I basically own your server basically. Now LIBs, let's move on to LIBs. Now, people, this is how I basically get in. Now, make sure you get the latest LABs. Just make sure go around to NPCs, test the LABs against everything. Against basically everything. Attacks, stuff like that. Now, SSH encryption. This is for nightly users. Always turn on SSH encryption. Always. Doesn't matter if it's default. Just turn it on. Because sniffers are now in the game. Which means if I'm able to go onto your system and sniff the password sit there on the router, I'm able to basically print out the whole password. Now, yeah, this is coming from a general blackhat in Greyhack who hacks people's servers and destroys them. And yeah, always employ good password practices. Always make sure not to use the same passwords for your servers. Always close processes. Check if those processes are still open. Always change the passwords on routers. Don't use the same passwords for the same servers in your internal network, and always chmod the system and stuff. And always make sure to get the latest LABs. This to be the old LABs that don't have no exploits and stuff. And yeah, and always turn on SSH encryption, no matter what. Even if you have to make your own. Because, trust me, it will help you in the long run. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to do that video. Stay safe out there and peace. This is me, out.